Whenever you're ready, darling.
Okay, I think I'm set. I'm ready.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special episode of the Devin Hour. We are bringing back our drag race review only to do an overall review of season 13 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, it has been at least 84 years since the season has begun. You know what I thought
Ellie,
was crazy, Macy?
what?
There was a point where I was watching the show and I said, damn, we didn't see Kimora Hall since January.
And didn't. That's tragic. Wow, it's literally April, and Miss Thing has been gone.
Been gone. Like this season has gone on for
Yeah,
so long. This has to be the longest season of Drag
I think
Race.
it is. I think it is because not only did they get sent away because of quarantine and all that stuff, we had to go through the whole pork chop loading dock fiasco. That dragged it out at least an extra 3, 4 episodes. So it has been a roller coaster to say the least.
It has been. But of course, let me just reintroduce you to Macy. You already know who it is. She's been here
Y'all
for
know
a
me.
lot of the other Drag Race reviews and even a lot of the Devon Hour episodes. So Macy, welcome back. I'm happy to have you. I'm happy to cut some shit up today.
Y'all know how we do. Y'all know we had to come back for this last review. Listen, we fell off. We started off strong with the season, but then we said we're not about to keep playing with y'all. And once we start falling behind on episodes, we just give up. So
We do. Yes.
we had
But
to
then
come back for the review, and here we are.
but I also think it has to do with the fact that the season in itself was just not giving it to us. Like with season
But
12, I felt like season 12 was such a strong season, even though they did have to deal with obviously COVID and then
mhm,
also with the whole Sherry Pie situation.
right.
But I still feel like we got a good season. We even got some good untucked moments. This season we
Mhm.
only got one good untucked moment. But yeah, the untucked only gave us one strong moment, and then the season in itself was kind of like there were some moments here and there, but I think overall, I don't think as we're going through the weeks of watching the show, I don't feel like it was as strong. It might feel better in a rewatch of the season because we're not
Right.
waiting every week to watch the show.
Right.
But yeah, I think overall this season, I don't think it was as strong as it was supposed to be.
It first. It just dragged on forever. At that point, we were over it.
Yeah, I think
So
that was the biggest issue. It was just so long. Well, obviously, let's start off with the queens, right?
right.
So the queens themselves, what are your thoughts on the cast? Obviously, we were lucky enough that we didn't have to edit anybody out this season.
Right.
We almost did though, because there was some tea that there was somebody who was casted and was at the airport and got booted off because they did this thing. I think her name is Jasmine Rice LaBeija. I think that's her name, or it probably was another queen. I'm not sure. New
Mm-hmm.
York queen, and they do this thing where they go on to like people's phones and airdrop the whole room their nudes, something crazy like that. So they were supposed to be casted for season 13, but luckily that tea came out,
Right.
and so then they had to X her out. I don't know who's the queen that they replaced her with last minute. Um, but yeah,
Miss
we
Elliott was
almost
we'll get into that because that's filler if you ever seen it.
right. Yes, probably it was Joey J. They said, "Girl,
Oh, true.
get over here with your chicken feathers. You got 3 days.
Right.
Get your shit together."
Right. Let me think. I don't know. I mean, would you say that it was a pretty good mixed bag? Like, I don't. What do you think?
I would say that the queens this season, I would say it was a mixed bag, and I think it had potential to give us a legendary season tease
Mm-hmm.
with the
Yeah.
queens that they chose.
Yeah.
Um, because I felt like I do genuinely feel like it was a pretty decent cast. I feel like it was
Yeah.
diverse. We had a mixed bag of ages. You know, we had Tamisha, of course,
Right.
who was a
Right.
legend, but we had, queens who were just now starting, like Olivia Lux, to queens who
Mm-hmm.
have been in the game, like Tamisha Iman, famous people like got Mick.
Right,
It was a
right.
mix. It was a mixed
Yeah,
bag.
yeah. And I think that it was a pretty good, strong cast overall. And like we said, and it was a lot of different personalities too. Like
Yeah.
we had some comedy queens, we had
Yep.
look queens, we had, fashion queens, we had face queens, we had a little bit of everything. We had a quirky queen in there, so it was definitely a good mixed bag. And like you said, the mix of age too. And sometimes some of the seasons we could see it's only a couple colored queens, but we had a good number this season,
Yeah.
so it was pretty good.
Yeah, I think RuPaul's Drag Race, the team behind it, the production team and the casting team are doing a very good job with making sure that they diversify the pool of
Mhm.
who is able to be on the show,
Right.
which I'm loving. My only issue though is now that the show keeps going up and up and up every year, and I guess we could talk about this once we get to the finale, is that
Hmm.
obviously it looks like you need to invest so much money in
Oh
order
yeah,
to be on the show. And like I
definitely.
remember like the finale, they had those 3 looks, and you're like,
Yep.
damn.
Yep. Definitely
So
got to get a little bit of your coin right before you even think about applying, because yes, some challenges you could throw stuff together if you have to like create stuff, but a lot of the stuff is like just stuff that you have to bring. Not really, it's not really too many challenges where you have to create a look anymore. Maybe
right.
one or two. Everything else you got to already have with you. So
Right.
once
I
you
think we
spend it,
only had one within the last 2 seasons, right? Which was like the ball challenges,
yep,
and they
yep,
had to create their own looks for that. But I'm like, damn, like back in the day, let's like season 3, for
hmm,
example, had like 500 design challenges.
exactly.
So they didn't have to bring as much drag. Even I would say season 11, they have those two design challenges, so they didn't have to bring as they missed, they didn't
Right.
have to bring 2 weeks worth of of drag.
Right. But
So
they are very much straying away from that now. It's like,
yeah, and I'm
where's
just
the
like, what the
creativity
hell?
anymore? All these queens got to do is swipe their credit card and you could be on Drag
And
Race.
it's the credit card because they ain't an
Right.
account.
Oh, I know.
Well, speaking of queens who we felt like stayed too long, I say Elliot with 2 T's is one of them.
Hmm.
I will say Candy Muse is the next one.
Now, I think I agree and I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I know why they kept Miss Thing, because she was the comedy of the season. Like,
Right.
she was the drama of the season.
Right.
But some of those looks that she was in the bottom for, she certainly could have went home for.
Yes.
Now, the one I will say, I think this was for the yellow runway. She shouldn't have went home for that runway. That looked good. Now, I don't remember what challenge was connected,
Snatch
but she
game. But no, it was a snatch game. It was the Rusical.
and
Social media
I guess she
Rusical.
just wasn't. I guess she just wasn't stunning in the Rusical, because the look was very much reminiscent of Beyonce Lemonade. So she
Right.
shouldn't have been in. She shouldn't have got booted for the look. Now, I don't really remember how she did in the challenge, but those other those other runways that she made it into the bottom, well deserved. But that one, I'm not surprised that Ru kept her, because she actually was halfway decent in that one.
Right. Well, for me, it was at the point where she got nominated. At the point where she was at the bottom for the Rusical, I felt like she already had too many chances because this was like her third time messing up in a performance-based challenge. You remember the
Mm,
first time she messed up was during the congratulations episode, and
right.
then the second time was that discomentary one, and then the
Yeah.
third time was this challenge, um the Rusical. And I'm just like, if you are messing up in 3 performance challenges, it's time for
Right.
you to go, because the whole
Right.
point is to perform. And if you can't do that, but you could deliver a
Right.
lip sync every week, no, girl, you
Right.
gotta go.
Right. I agree. I definitely agree.
So I felt like I understand why they kept her, because she was like basically like the narrator, or like, the drama
Mm-hmm.
of the season. But
Right.
I felt like it would have been. I feel like, honestly, is it a real competition if some people who you think don't go home goes home? I think
Right.
Candy should have went home. Period. We would
Yeah.
have been perfectly fine. Probably would have had Denali in the damn top 4.
That's true. And Denali definitely could have been a contender for the top four. So if we're swapping out Candy for Denali, I'm all for it.
Right. I feel like Candy was there for a little bit too long. I was surprised Tina made it as far as she did. Just
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
honestly.
None of her looks were stunning to me, if you ask me. I can't really remember one specific runway that I was like, oh, fierce. The only one that I halfway liked was, I guess this was the yellow runway too, and she was like the taxi. That
Yeah.
was like kind of cute and it was like campy. But other than that, all the rest had the yellow, the ketchup and mustard, and it was a no-go for me. So she did okay in like challenges and acting challenges because obviously Tina Burner is very funny, but fashion wise, none of the runways were stunning to me.
None.
So
No.
she lasted a little longer than she probably had to.
Yeah. And I'm gonna just choose violence. I think Gottmik should have been in the bottom a
Yep.
couple of times, and knowing that she's not a performer, she would have went home. And I think personally, I mean, I know we love Gottmik for like the representation or whatever, but and ultimately she didn't end up winning. But I feel as though you could have been sent her home, and I think I would have been perfectly fine. I feel like you could have swapped her out with another queen, probably Tamisha.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a challenge. Like, yes, we love Gottmik, we love the representation, and her drag is
It's
good.
gorgeous. I'm
If
happy
you
we
ask
got to
me.
see it.
Right. But if it comes down to the performances or something like that, or if she just wasn't as strong as someone else, then the competition is the competition. But they probably didn't want to receive any like backlash for like sending, a trans cast member home.
Yeah.
So that's honestly probably why they kept her to the finale. Like her drag definitely could have made her to the finale, if you ask me. The drag definitely could have carried her there.
Yeah.
But the performance wise, some were hit or miss. And I think that some people may have did better that week and they kept her instead because of her drag.
And I know, like I said, we want to keep these strong contenders or like people who we think is going to make it far, make it to the end because we're trying to avoid backlash from the fans or whatever. But this is a reality show competition. And one thing
Right.
I like about reality show competitions is when somebody who I think is going to make it ends up going to fuck home. And
Right.
that's why I liked UK the most because we thought Astina was going to go all the way to the end.
I know. And they done sent her ass home and I was shook. Shook. Shook.
I was
I'm still
like,
not to this
I
day.
said Astina's going home.
I
That's
know.
why, like, if Gottmik would have went home on Drag Race, or like Candy Muse, or let's say if Simone would have went home, I would have been like, "Damn, they're playing no
Right.
games."
Right. Right. And I also think that it's just a difference in any other drag race versus American drag race. The fan base is very different, and we know how cutthroat the American drag race fan base can be. So they probably just try to avoid things when they can and try to play it off as, oh, it's just a competition versus UK or anything or Canada or anything like that. It's like it can be what it can be, and you're not going to be scared that a queen is getting all these death threats and things because they got booted off or they stayed.
Yeah.
So I think that American Drag Race tries to avoid that a little bit after seeing how the fan base has been for so many years. So I think that plays a role in it too.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into what we would like to improve for the next couple of seasons. Now let's talk about this finale. Right, I'm highly disappointed that we did not get a reunion. I really wanted to see all 13 of the queens probably in a Zoom chat.
Right.
So, or they could, I feel like they could have just quarantined them, and or they could have probably pushed to get them to get their vaccinations first, to be honest. And then could have got them all in the same damn room.
Right. Right. Because I feel like some things definitely could have been addressed from the season. Tamisha and Candy, let's hear it. Because of course we heard it at the finale, like, no, we haven't spoken or whatever. Well, we should have had the reunion so we can hear. Where are we now? Because
Right.
like we said, we haven't addressed that yet, but that was one of the most heated things of the season. So how are we not going to address that again?
Right. I wanted to hear what Tamisha had to say about Tina Burner and Gottmik basically dick riding Candy. I wanted to hear
Yep.
that too. I wanted
Yep.
I wanted to hear because I know Denali is somebody who's not afraid to say what they got to say. I want to hear what Denali's perspective on her elimination when it came to that runway, the makeover runways.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of things that needed to be addressed that wasn't, and I feel
Right.
like that reunion, season 13's reunion, could have been an iconic ass reunion.
It could have, because I know that Candy and Tamisha would have been popping off again.
Period.
On that alone, let alone everything else we just said, that would have made it iconic just off of that interaction once more.
But also addressing Elliot with 2 T's.
Right. Now, so they did have that thing before the finale, the week before, but I don't really know what to call that thing. You know what it was when they were showing like all their like music videos?
Reunited. That's what they call it.
Yeah, but it wasn't right. Everybody was separate on Zoom, and it didn't give us a reunion feel.
Yeah,
it didn't, and it didn't give what it had to give. Basically, like we didn't get closure on any of the things that we just talked about.
No,
that was just plugging their little music videos or whatever the case may be, and that's that. Like we haven't really, everything.
But
is
they
still
wasted all that time doing these bullshit music videos when they could have just got everybody to do a damn Zoom call, and that would have been it.
Exactly. I don't know what they were thinking with that, because that, quite frankly, that was a waste of time. I didn't even really have to watch that.
Do you think that they didn't have a reunion, so they wouldn't have to address those things with like Elliot, or like, because it would have been a lot of the fans being like attacking the queens, basically, right?
Yep. I do think that that's probably one of the reasons, because I think that goes for Elliot, that goes for Candy, it goes for Tamisha, because Tamisha's going to be painted as, like the angry Black woman. I think it goes for a lot of the things. So that's probably why they were like, let's just do it this way so that the queens like won't be getting dragged for filth for I don't know how long. Because I know they already doing it anyway, but God forbid we had an actual reunion where potentially there could be some arguing back and forth or something like that. It would have been 10 times worse with the fan base. So
yeah,
they probably said, let's avoid that. Let's just do it reunited and keep it at that.
Ugh. But we're definitely going to get into that when we start talking about what we want to see in future seasons, because I have a couple of thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So finale,
right?
Overall thoughts. What did you think?
Everybody's looks were stunning.
Yes.
Let's start with that.
Yes.
All the looks.
What was RuPaul doing in that first? That I know minimum. RuPaul is 60. I know RuPaul is 60 years old.
Bare minimum. The absolute bare minimum. I can't even call it that, because that was a little kickball change. Step 2, step 3 wasn't nothing. Zero effort. Zero.
I don't want to.
Like at that point, what was the point in doing it, girl?
My thing was, people kept saying like, "Oh, she's 60." Okay, I know that RuPaul is 60 years old, but you had Tina damn Turner up here, 70 something, putting on full on stadium shows, and you're telling me that RuPaul can't even get into a Dua Lipa number?
Right. It was very stale. It was very it didn't give what we thought it was gonna give. It was like everybody was shocked to see that, oh, Ru was coming out to do this number. Girl, she didn't do nothing but do a 2-step across the stage, and that's it. And for all of 5 seconds, like she couldn't even give us no sparkle fingers, no big arms, nothing. It was very like, now Ru, if you weren't going to give your all, the same way you tell these girls lip sync for your life, Miss Thing, you need to set the example.
Right. Not that, right.
Because if that's how the queen's going to perform, then they getting booted. So
right, at least have like an exploding wig, or a wig reveal, or a reveal into another outfit. You didn't do any of that.
Or at least pick a song that's upbeat. The song was slow as shit. So it's like, I guess she figured she couldn't really be doing no flips and tricks and shit to it, but at least pick a good song. Like, it was very, why are we opening up the show to this? This is a closing song for a show. Certainly not the opening. So that was just like, okay. Whatever that was.
Ru could have kept that. I was like, I said, you look good, but that's it.
The performance, you could have kept that.
And then had the nerve to drop an album. Ma'am, this ain't the time for that.
Right. Now, Miss Ma'am. We ain't listening. We ain't streaming that. After that performance, no man.
Right. All the, like you said, all the looks were stunning. I'ma just give a big shout out to Simone again. Because
Period.
every single
Now, one thing I will say, and I understand because it was like the look on top of a reveal, but I wasn't crazy about that last one, the jumpsuit with the box cut. It just, you know how sometimes their outfits on top of the reveal are a very clear indication that it's on top of a reveal. Like it doesn't fit right, it's too big, it's hanging off because you got other stuff underneath.
Right.
I wasn't a fan of that, but when she revealed the Tim's outfit, and I think she like took off the wig and had box braids or a wig.
Yeah.
That was cute, but the outfit that was on top of it, I didn't really care for that at all.
Right. The finale was Britney Spears night, so all the
Right.
songs were
I
Britney
live for
Spears.
that. I live for that.
I was highly disappointed by the choices of Britney Spears
Yeah,
songs that
it
they
was,
chose.
and it seems like the choices, which they have no control over, obviously, but I mean they do if they gave them better choices to begin with. But the choices that were picked for the pairs, it didn't really go to me.
I don't like the fact that they recycled work, bitch. I hate that
right.
because we already heard it with Kahana Montrese and Mercedes Amon Diamond, and they ate that song up. So I'm like, this they could have got another song. Womanizer, I think, would have been dope.
Right.
I think
give us anything else. Toxic, something like
Toxic.
And then the second song was like the worst song to lip sync. Like,
give me more, yeah. Especially from
like,
these queens.
You can't really do anything to it. Like, unless you're literally doing like flips and tricks and shit. Like lip syncing, you can't really give energy to me. You can't really give energy as how you could to another song.
Because Give Me More is a bar song.
Right.
You sing that in a bar where you're going to get your life, like the mood is right, because that's like what the music video was. So you got to give it like a certain mood and a feeling. I don't feel like RuPaul's Drag Race was going to do Give Me More any justice. Or if they would have saved that for if they would have saved it for a lip sync song during the season.
Right. Especially not on the final stage.
No.
That you're trying to win the crown. You're going to have these queens lip sync to Give Me More out of this whole catalog. That's what y'all picked. And then a recycled song. It's like, give us something else.
Right. Like you said, Toxic. They could have did a deep album cut.
They could have did I'm a Slave for You. They could have turned that.
Right. Or Boys.
Something. Right. Literally anything else than what they gave us.
Right.
Anything else. So that was a little
Me Against the Music. Something.
Right. Something. Give us something. So the choices of the songs were questionable. I'm glad that we had like a Britney theme.
Britney night, yeah.
But the choices were very questionable. And I think that they could not show their full potential in the lip syncs because of these choices.
Right.
So
choices.
That's that.
Choices for real. Till the World Ends, I was happy you played. I like Till the World Ends.
Right.
Because I think it makes sense, right? It's the closing number.
Yeah.
I just wish we had a more energetic performance. It was a lot of like, I did enjoy Simone's rendition of it. I just felt like it could have Candy just looked a damn mess. And that's what really bothered me.
Right.
Girl, this is your finale. This is your last, your triumphant moments. And this is the wig you come out in.
A mess. Quite frankly, I didn't really care for Rosé's either.
And that's why Rosé didn't win. And I'm going to just be honest with y'all. Rosé didn't win because of these rickety crickety ass runways and the makeup and all. Rosé had the best track record out of everybody on this season. Point blank, period.
Every single challenge, slayed, killed. Now those runways, those wigs, and the beat, questionable. Killed every single challenge she stepped foot in. But Miss Ma'am, you're not giving it to us anywhere else. No. Some runways were good. Some runways were like, what is the concept? Like that one where she had like the mermaid sleeves or something, and then had on a pink wig. What was, I don't even remember the theme. Going all based off her? What was the theme? Because it's not giving me any cohesion at all.
Oh, Rose. That's the
So
most frustrating part about Rose is like, girl, you're almost there. You could have won. You had the best track record out of everyone. You could have won. If you know what, you had messed up runway throughout the season. If you would have came to this finale and you would have ate it the fuck up, you would have had the crown. She would have had the crown. Looks wise. She didn't even have to do that much. Just give us a look. That nude illusion. I was like, yeah, get you out the door now. Go.
And the wig. I mean, what are you doing with that ponytail number? No. For the finale? No,
Did she think this was Baby One More Time? Is that what she thought?
Maybe, but no, ma'am. I did like her green look when she was just sitting there with RuPaul. Stunning.
Yeah.
Mary Queen of Scots.
Right.
But baby, for the finale lip sync, that's what you're gonna give us?
Yes. So Simone won. Mm-hmm. I think this had to be one of the, actually, this is the first time where I was like, well, I'm not surprised.
Right. No, I wasn't. And the only other runner-up for me would have been Gottmik. Because solely on the fashion alone, it's like our next queen. That's it for me. Definitely not Candy Muse. Like we said, I'm not sure why she made it to the final four. But and Rose just seems predictable to me, if you ask me. It's like a typical, it's like a queen that has a perfect track record. It's like that's typical to me. It's like that screams very much Gigi Good to me. So that would have been very typical if Rose won. So for me, since the beginning, Simone. And once we started getting more and more into the competition, I said, okay, well, if they try not to put our Black Queen Simone in the spot, I'm perfectly content with Gottmik. Those were my only two throughout the whole entire competition.
Right. I was rooting for Rose for a minute. Like I was like, okay, Rose got this. I think Rose is going to do well. Mm-hmm. But then as I started to like put the piece together, I said her runways ain't hitting it for me. So I don't think they're going to crown somebody with these style of runways, and you have somebody on the level of Simone and Gottmik on the show. So it was always down to those two. But when the final two ended up being Candy Muse or Simone, I said, well, they're not going to give it to Candy Muse, so it's going to be Simone. And it was and I really wish they would have, I don't know, like I feel like the finale that we needed was Simone versus Gottmik. That should have been the final two. Because I feel like that would have added a little bit more of like suspense as to who could win, because then that means it could have went any way.
Right. Now, you know what I think? Simone versus, okay, so this is based only on if her runways were stronger.
Right.
Simone versus Rose.
Yeah.
It's a competition. Because Rose is very much a front runner, and so was Simone. Yeah. So that's like an actual nail biter. Like, who was going to actually turn this and win? If it was between those two. If it was between Candy and Gottmik, it's very obvious. It's Candy against anybody. Candy's gone, like at this rate. But Gottmik is not a strong enough performer for me that when she's against somebody in a final finale, I know they're not going to pick her. Even with her fashion and her track record being good, considering she's not a well enough performer.
That's
so true. Anybody is going to knock her out of a lip sync. Not saying that she's not well enough, but not well enough for the finale. Certainly not. Whoever else is in the finale is going to knock her off. So yeah, that's why I say Simone and Rose, because they are top-notch performers and have the best track records of the season. Yeah. That's a competition.
Yeah, I would also like to say, like, because last year when we had season 12, and it was between, let's be honest, it was between Gigi Good or Jada. Right. Now that was a nail biter. We were like, we don't know who the hell is going to win.
That's what I'm saying.
When season 11 it was Evie versus Brooklyn, we said, oh God, we don't know who the hell's going to win.
That's right? What I'm saying.
When it was Peppermint and Sasha, because I think everybody was expecting like Shay and Trinity to be the final two, but it was Peppermint and Sasha we were just like, who the hell is going to win? That is
Yep.
what I call a good like finale, because you don't know
Yep.
who's going to win. This right here, when Candy and Simone got up there, and I said, well, Simone's crown.
Right. We knew that. First of all, we've been saying we didn't think that
And I don't see Simone
Candy
in the
was
All-Star season.
right. We like we said, and we'll keep saying time and time again, Candy shouldn't have made it to the final
No.
four. Shouldn't have made it to the final six. She shouldn't have made it to the final eight.
Nope.
If we being real. So we knew that she wasn't gonna win.
No.
Out of everybody. We knew that. And like I said, God Mick just isn't a strong enough performer to me. Her fashion carried her to the end, and I'm glad because she was, her fashion was fantastic, but she's not a strong enough performer to beat anybody else out of a lip sync unless it's literally like Kimora Hall.
Yeah. Yeah.
No shade, Kimora, but girl, we saw what you bought us.
Right. So with that being said, we have a new Queen Simone. Happy to see it. What are some things now going forward that you would like to see different in the next couple of seasons, or like the upcoming seasons? I already have a Rolodex of shit in my head. And
right.
If you need me to start off, I'll start off.
Yeah, you can go ahead first, and then
Okay.
I'll finish up.
So one thing that I need this show to do going forward is to make sure they cast some people, some women. Wait.
Right.
Well, yes to that, but no. What I mean is for the upcoming. For the upcoming seasons, the way I was going to say they need to cast. I only said women because I was watching Charm School just now, because it made me think of this. Right. So I'm on so I was watching Charm School, and I was like, yo, damn, these are some reckless ass bitches on this show. And then I'm looking at RuPaul's Drag Race in comparison to how it used to be, and I said, damn, they need some ruthless ass bitches on this show. So what the producers need to do is to first cast some girls who are not afraid to go back and forth with fans, or not afraid to impress fans. Who cares? Fuck them. Right?
Exactly. And let me just say this: it doesn't always have to be girls like Candy Muse.
Look at the earlier seasons, right? Season 3, Raja's season. You had Raja was going back and forth with the girls. You had Shangela going back and meet me on first. You had all of these girls, no matter what race, ethnicity, or background, was going to cut you up and chew you up. I think what the issue is, a lot of these people grew up watching Drag Race, right? Because it's been on for 13 years. So that's enough time for people to grow up with the show. So now they're just like, so now they don't have like that old school drag background like a couple of girls are casted now have, right? So like, we need more Tamishas, or you could throw in more Jadas, right? You could throw in more who else? More Tina Burners. Like, these are people who were drag queens before Drag Race, and these are queens who are more of like real gutter, like seasoned. Right.
They know through and through, not just basing it off of, oh, I watched Drag Race, so now I want to be a drag queen. No, these are queens that know the industry, know the culture, know what you got to go through to be getting shows, going back and forth with the girls stealing shows from you. They know everything. Yeah. So we need more of that. We don't, not to say that the new queens don't bring things to drag, that is very much necessary, because it is. Yeah. But I think we are shifting away from the original drag culture and more into like mainstream social media things. So it's not as important anymore. You know what I mean?
Also, their whole branding thing right now, everybody's coming here with a brand and a catchphrase. Forget that. Let that be a natural occurrence. Let that be something that just happens. I'm so tired of these, because this is the thing, right? I always said this: production is working hard and kind of manipulating situations because the girls aren't giving what they used to give. Right? Earlier seasons, these girls used to say all types of wild ass stuff. They didn't need no coaching from no producers. They didn't need to get thrown stuff to encourage a conversation.
They didn't need a storyline.
They didn't. They just had one. It started to
Exactly,
build.
because the drama would manifest on its own. Now the drama has been manifested, or we have to say, now how can we talk about this in this episode in Untucked, or while we're getting ready for the runway, I need you to bring up this so we can start this conversation. No,
Right.
everything was more natural back then, and it just flowed. Now it's like, okay, the girls aren't giving what they need to give, so we got to give it to them, and it's just very fabricated now.
Yeah, and or is either that or just now is just so blatant. Like, because
Right.
back in the day, all that stuff probably was happening earlier seasons. We just didn't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, and
Right.
it wasn't as obvious. In these newer
Right.
seasons, it's obvious that they're keeping girls because they're keeping certain girls because they want them to stay for whatever storyline purposes. Or back in the
Right.
day, like you get sent home, you get sent the fuck home, and it is what it was, right?
Exactly.
So it is annoying to kind of see how contrived, and obviously seeing it's like you're seeing the producer right in your face. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna need them to change that going forward into future seasons. Just start casting more authentic, real girls, and also people who don't care about the branding, girls who don't care
Right. Don't care
about
about the social media.
who
Don't
don't care
care
about none of
about,
that.
right. Because
Impressing
these original
fans. Fuck the fans.
right. That's what I was about to say. These original drag queens, they don't give a fuck about what these fans gotta say, because they're doing drag for themselves. They're not doing it for the fan base. They're not doing it for the fame. They're not doing it for social media. Tamisha Iman could probably give less of a shit about what people are talking about her on social media.
Exactly.
We don't care about that. She's doing drag because that's what she loves to do, and that's her passion, and that's her profession.
That is so
Some of the
annoying. I feel
queens,
like Tamisha should have
yep,
been on earlier seasons.
yep. Some of these queens are doing it because of the social media fame, because they want to gain the following, because they want to do, because social media, yes, is this day and age, and that is what it is. But it's like there are queens out there that don't care about that, as we see Tamisha Iman. So we need to mix up the bag a little bit more, and not have queens that are so focused on social media,
Yeah,
or
so
so
focused on
focused on,
brands and da da da.
right,
Who
or so
cares?
focused
Like,
on the fashion. Like Kimora Hall, like what do you actually know about the art form of drag, other than buying designer clothes and knowing how to paint your face? What do you actually know about ballroom culture? What do you actually know about voguing? What do you actually know about being able to, turn it on a
and you
runway
probably
or
do
in a
know
show?
stuff like that, but we didn't see it because all we got to see
Exactly.
from you was Bob Mackey this,
Exactly.
and I'm this type of girl. But
Exactly.
you're probably way more than that. And
Exactly.
I feel like we had more episodes, so there was more opportunities for that. But then also, I feel like that's on the producers, right? They're not necessarily
Yep.
showing that. So
Yep.
that's why I'm saying that we need to get rid of all this producer involved nonsense. We need to stop with. I understand branding is important, but I feel like you could find a balance between, okay, you doing your brand while also being
Right.
your authentic self and producing a good ass show where we're not
Right.
seeing the producers in our face, and start sending these girls home. No more seasons of 1300 episodes. I don't want to
Right.
see that no longer. And also
Exactly.
give us a damn reunion.
Exactly. Is it so much to ask? Is that too much to ask? That whole pork chop loading dock,
Cut.
get rid of it. We ain't need it.
We
Get rid
didn't.
of it. It was a waste of time. It was a waste of production, quite frankly,
Waste
because
of money.
why are we why are we wasting these girls' time? They came up here, willing to leave their family, their friends behind, be quarantined together for this whole season. And y'all gonna drag it out for 3 episodes. Are you staying or you going? Are you staying or you going? We don't need that. It's already enough anxiety going on. And now you want me to lip sync for my life on the very first episode, when some of these queens come in with these elaborate get ups where they can't be lip sync unless they're ripping it completely off. Get rid of it. We did not need the pork chop loading dock now, and we don't want it ever again. So get rid of that. Bring back the reunion. Also, I don't know how I feel about having too many girls. I feel like we don't need 15, 16 girls in some of these seasons. Is it really necessary?
No. This
Because
season
then
had
it starts to get repetitive. Like we're having too many of the same type of queen on a season.
I agree. I feel like because now it's time to mention Drag Race UK, right? Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
Drag Race UK was airing at the same time, and I feel like that was the superior season, right?
It
Drag
was.
Race UK had 12 girls, 10
Right.
episodes.
Right.
We got through a whole storyline of stuff. If there was producer involvement, we wouldn't have known.
Right.
Right.
It didn't seem manifested
It
drama
didn't
to
seem
me. It
manifested.
seemed authentic.
Those queens, they were chewing each other the fuck up. They didn't care.
Exactly. Exactly.
They don't care. It was like it felt like
Nope.
I was going back in time and watching a British version of earlier seasons of Drag Race. Like these
Right.
girls, UK queens didn't care about your feelings. They read you
Exactly.
down.
Exactly.
And I think that's because that's British culture, right? Because British people don't really give a shit. So
Right.
they're just over
Right.
here just
Right.
chewing each other up. So
Right.
we need more of that. Like we need more of that
Mhm.
authenticity that we got from UK. Um,
Right.
I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else I want to see in the future season. Is there anything that you
Oh,
want to see?
number one, we need to see more people on the panel that actually know what the fuck they're talking about on the judge panel. It's not clicking for me. I'm sorry, but I'm tired of Ross and Carson.
Yeah.
Switch it up. Like it's tired. They're giving us the same critiques that they've been giving the girls for years. Get prior contestants on the panel every once in a while. What is so hard about that? We already know that we're not going to get rid of Rue's Good Judy Michelle, but Ross and Carson aren't giving it to me anymore, quite frankly.
Yeah. It's like I feel like that's a good point, right? Like bring on the girls who are on previous seasons as a
Right,
judge. You could have winners co-host, right? Also,
exactly.
I'm so tired of, and this is what really bothers me and this nitpicking to me. And we talked
Mm-hmm.
about this in our reviews that I want to see more consistency with the show. If you're going to
Right,
have a guest judge, I want to see that guest judge throughout the episode, right? If you're
right.
going to have a specific runway, I want to see the judges in that style of runway.
Exactly,
If
exactly.
that's what I want to see. I'm so tired of RuPaul coming out in a rainbow gown and the runway's white. What?
Right.
No.
It makes no sense. And like you said, none of the panel ever participates in that either. So what is so hard about that? Like, why couldn't everybody, like with your example for white, everybody could throw in a little white ensemble? Like, why it seems like the judges are showing up for a different show. It's like, why can't we have consistency, as you say? And it's also, why are we not getting guest judges that go with the challenge?
Sometimes
It's
it
just
just be
random
out of the
people.
blue, right?
It's
Like,
just random people that y'all are pulling from the woodwork. Like this week we have such and such. What they have to do with the challenge? Absolutely nothing. But they're the guest judge anyway. It's
right.
like, make it make sense.
For
Sometime they will have like a comedy person for like, Snatch Game or whatever. But most things it just doesn't fit.
right. And this season we kind of avoided that because obviously we had the COVID restrictions. So we only got
Right.
Nicole
Right.
Byer, T.S. Madison, and Lonnie Love.
Right.
And who else? I think that was it, right? And they
I
probably
think
had
that's
somebody
it.
else on there.
Yeah.
But T.S. Madison would be a dope person to keep as a permanent
To keep as a
judge.
permanent, you can, quite frankly, they can boot Carson off because I really don't care about what Carson has to
No, I
say.
don't.
At least Ross is like funny, and at least he like goes with like funny challenges and stuff, and he can coach the girls how to be funny. What is Carson giving?
Right. You could get rid of Carson and Ross. Like they're cool, whatever. They
It's
got all these
tired.
other checks that they could be cashing. I feel like
Exactly.
give the space to T.S. Madison because T.S. Madison is with the girls now. T.S. Madison
Exactly.
knows what the drag is now. T.S. Madison
Exactly.
knows what the
That
trans
is
girls are about now. Let T.S. Madison
exactly.
on the show.
Exactly. That is a perfect contender for a permanent judge alongside Michelle, because at this rate, we know we're never getting rid of Michelle.
No.
So, but Carson and Ross, that is definitely up for debate. And like we said, rotate a queen every once in a while, especially what if a queen won this specific challenge? And it's a very monumental queen that won something like very, like somebody that really is rememberable from like one of the past Snatch Games is back for a new Snatch Game because they know what to do to win. Obviously, it's a different character, but like you get what I'm saying. Put people in the place where they fit. It's just very random when they just have like a random singer on there as a guest judge that has absolutely nothing to do with
Yeah.
the challenge. Now they call themselves dragging the guest judge in by having them lip sync to their song, but it has nothing to do with the challenge.
No, I remember last season, season 12, when they had Normani as a guest judge. And I said, what the hell is Normani doing here?
What does she know? Like, they're literally just pulling people out the woodwork at this point.
Right. So, like I said, we just need more consistency. We also need to switch it up on the panel. And I would also just go on a whim and say they need to up the cash prize. I feel like it's been $100,000 for too long. Obviously, it's getting too expensive to be on this show. So I feel like the winner should have at least $250,000, 250 million. And I feel like before you cast the girls, or when you have a set cast, you need to give them at least 5,000 a pop to get their drag together.
Right. And the prizes for winning like the challenges and stuff, that can be switched up. Like, we don't have to keep sending them on the same stale trips, or a massage, or this, that, or a year's worth of this or that. And it's like it needs to be switched up. It seems very stale to me. They're giving them the same
like
type
little
of
mini
things.
challenges wins at the beginning.
Right, yeah. Like, they're giving them the same type of things that they've been giving for years. So, like, give us something else.
Yeah. I do like the fact that they switched up. I do like that they switched up, like, when a person wins a challenge that they get like $5,000. Like, I like that a lot. So that means, like, ultimately Simone went home with $120,000. So the tax was just went off by the challenge wins.
Right. At that point.
Right.
So just give us something new. Just give it a fresh taste. Like, I'm tired of the same stale stuff from the beginning of the series. Like, give us something more than anything. The panel has to change. And what is so hard about consistency? Like, especially now, I can understand if it's a particularly difficult challenge, like maybe it's like a bag bar or something, like something where you have to craft. Maybe the judges won't do that. But if it's literally like a yellow runway, why doesn't everybody have on yellow? What's not clicking?
Right. Yeah, I think that's about it as far as our thoughts and opinions on season 13 goes. Drag Race is going international for the next couple of months, or I guess for the rest of the year, because we have Drag Race Spain coming up. We have Drag Race Down Under coming up. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a second season of Canada coming out later this year.
Yeah, I think so.
And probably another season of Holland. So they're very, very busy knocking these shows out. Oh, and we got All Stars coming out. So there's just a lot of drag.
Wait, did you hear about All Stars that you can only watch it on
Paramount Plus?
Ma'am, who's paying for that? Y'all already taking my coin from Wow Presents. Y'all gonna have to post everything on Twitter, and that's where I'll see what's happening. Cause I ain't doing another subscription. Listen, we got student loans over here, okay? Y'all already snatching my coin as it is for Wow Presents Plus. And there's enough seasons on there where I'm not gonna watch All Stars. And I heard that Silky and Eureka are on it. That's what I heard.
Nope. Nope.
That's what I heard.
Unless one of them is going home first.
Exactly. I said, I'm not into that. No, thank you. No, thank you. Because that's going to be the storyline of the whole All Stars. Yeah, the two big queens, this, that, and the third, big queens, big personalities, blah, blah. No, ma'am. I'm good off that.
My only issue with a Silky and Eureka combination is that they're going to be annoying as shit the whole entire time.
Exactly. No, ma'am. I'm good off that. So if they call themselves saying that that's the only way you can watch All Stars is Wow Presents, Paramount, I won't be watching.
I would have never asked Silky to come back for All. I never thought Silky would come back for an All Star season.
I mean, the drag wasn't stunning. They kept her because she was a personality. Like, the drag, it was whatever to me. Like, some of it was okay, but some of it was like, no, Miss Ma'am, you know you shouldn't have wore that. So,
oh no. See, I didn't look at the spoilers of who's going to be on the season. I'm trying to keep it like, exciting as to who will be coming on.
That's what I heard through the grapevine, and I said that's enough for me.
The only other person who I heard was going to be on that season was Ginger Minge, and I said, do we need Ginger Minge back for another
Right.
season of All Stars?
I mean, come on now. If she couldn't win before,
Twice.
it exactly. What makes you think that in this day and age she's going to win
Oh,
now?
but did you hear? Is another thing. Did you hear of international All Stars happening? So they already
No,
done filmed that,
no, I didn't hear
and
that.
one of the queens who is on the show is Jujubee. And I said, damn, every single time they're going to introduce something, they're going to bring Jujubee along, huh?
Yep, every time, every time,
And
every
I heard
time.
Pangina is going to be on there too.
Well, as long as they slap it on Wow Presents Plus, I'll be tuning in. If they try to put it on another network, I will not be taking part in it. I already got 3 things to watch on Wow Presents Plus that I will be satisfied with. I ain't paying for no more subscriptions, and especially not for those 2 queens that I heard being on All Stars. I'll pass. So we shall see. Maybe if I could finesse watching with a free trial. But other than that, I ain't paying my coin to see Silky and Eureka hooting and hollering every week.
So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning into this special episode of the Devin Hour Drag Race Review. We really felt the need to review the season. It was a long ass season. And we're happy to be seeing the end of it now. Unfortunately, it's going to be non-stop drag race. I think
Right.
I am interested in probably reviewing Down Under because I feel
I
like
was
it's
about to
going
say, if
to
that's one
be
that we're going to review, we should do that one.
I feel like it's going to be a good season, and it's the first season, so it's going to be a shorter one. So we only have to
Right.
probably dedicate like 8 weeks to it, which I'm down
Yeah.
to do. I want to watch the
Right.
first episode first before we start giving our opinions.
Right. Right. Right.
But I think Down Under will be a great one. I'm not, and I don't want to do any of the seasons where I have to look at a subtitle.
Right, because it's just going to be too much. Like, first of all, we got to worry about having the subtitles on. Then I got to remember what these hoes say because I was reading the subtitles, and it's just too much. So
No,
we are
Spain's
sticking
out.
to the reviews. Right, we are sticking to the reviews that are in English, please and thank you. And yeah, I think Down Under will be a good one since that'll be our first exposure to that. So after we watch the first episode, we will see how because I haven't even looked at the cast list. I
I
mean,
haven't seen it either.
I've seen bits and pieces from Instagram just from scrolling, but I haven't like actually watched like the video that they do at the beginning. So we'll have to see how that first episode goes. But we may be doing a Down Under review. So stay tuned for that.
Yes. So, like I said, thank you so much for tuning into this week. Probably look forward to Down Under reviews and also look forward to an upcoming new season of the Devin Hour podcast. The first season did very, very well. Had to take a little break because a bitch was getting their money up. But
Period.
yeah, exactly. That's the only reason why I was getting my coins up. But
Exactly.
yeah, be on the lookout for this upcoming season. I have some great plans for this upcoming season. I feel like the show just keeps upping itself every single time with these new ideas I just keep having, and I'm very
Right.
excited about it. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that. But yeah, thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye, guys.